Hi guys. So, I've been focusing a lot on the New York mayoral race for good reasons, because if Mondani wins, it will make history in New York City politics. But now we go across the river in New Jersey. New Jersey is currently also, as New York, dealing with a governor's race, and the nation is not only paying attention to New York, they're paying attention to also Virginia and New Jersey. And these races on Tuesday are very important because it will show where the country's at after 1 year of Donald Trump's presidency, and we'll see how people react 1 year in, if they accept his policies or not. If they accept it, then we'll see the Republicans do good. If they're rejecting it and don't like what they're seeing, then they'll vote for the Democratic candidates. Right now, Virginia is dealing with the lieutenant governor, the actual governor as well. Virginia is going to make history no matter who they vote for, because they're both women, and Virginia hasn't had a woman or, a lady in Virginia's governor's position at all. So this would make history no matter if they vote for a Republican or not. Abigail Spanberger, she's running a good race over Sears. And then the Attorney General, the AG, Jay Jones is in hot water, but I think he'll end up beating him, because at the same time, people are just so tired of the Republicans not really ruling based on their constituents. They're just going whatever Donald Trump says. And that's not what they go in to elect them for. So I think Jay Jones might push to the end, even though his scandalous texts. Anyways, and then now back to New Jersey. This video is going to be about Mikie Sherrill, the Democratic candidate for governor, and Jack Ciattarelli, the Republican candidate for the Republicans. And this race has been heating up. It's been so close. We all knew it was going to be close anyway, because New Jersey is just one of those states where they're very particular of who they vote for, who they want them to represent. For the past decade, it's been Democratic ruled. And usually when it comes to these types of elections, the people of New Jersey vote for the opposite party, whoever's in the White House. So this one would be historic, because the thing with Mikie Sherrill, we all knew it was going to be tight, but she's running to pretty much replace Phil Murphy. He's the Democratic incumbent that's being term limited in the governor's position. And now that's why there hasn't been that where a governor does 2 terms and then another Democrat. Usually New Jersey votes for the opposite party. But this is different. As of right now, Donald Trump has gone full dictatorial. And 1 year in, inflation is up. Immigration has been through the roof. Yes, the border is closed, but everybody is seeing people being snatched up. You have these guys in masks with guns and everything just going into Home Depot, going to people's workplaces, getting a 6-year-old that has cancer and sending them to God knows where, to some other country, when Donald Trump promised he was only going to get the bad people, like the actual real criminals. People weren't in favor of doing this. How is a grandma that's been here for all her life, or been here for decades, that has no criminal record, going to get snatched up from her workplace? She's providing for her family, she's working, she's paying her taxes, and that's okay. People don't accept that. There might be some in his base, but I'm sorry, MAGA's not the majority. And that's not okay. So they're dealing with that. High costs are through the roof. Inflation is going higher than ever. When Biden left, inflation was at 2.3 from 9 when he took office. It was in the right direction. Now it just went up to 3%. So whose fault is that? Donald Trump. He controls all of Congress, and he has done nothing to try to lower prices. And people are seeing that, and they're tired of it. So Mikie and Jack Ciattarelli are both running a contested race. Like, it's crazy. Right now, the polls have her at 51 and Jack Ciattarelli right behind with only a 3 to 5 point margin. And that was the same thing from Jack Ciattarelli's 2021 race, when he was getting good, but then he ended up losing by 3%. It was very, very close. And he actually gained a lot of Republicans and a lot of voters from the independents and even some Democrats. But he ended up still losing with Phil Murphy. So now that it's Phil Murphy's last term, now Jack Ciattarelli is trying to go for the running again. They always say third time's the charm, but the problem with Jack, he has really sided with Donald Trump with everything. Obviously, he needs to make sure that his Republican base and supporters of Trump vote for him. So he's going to do anything and everything to try to get them and not lose them. And make the point that Democrats have been running New Jersey for 10 years. And everything's high because of them. But also the issue is who's in the White House. So who's Jack Ciattarelli? He's an American politician and businessman, a Republican. He's part of the Republican Party. And he represented 16 legislative districts in the General Assembly from 2011 and 2018. He's a businessman, and he worked from his ground up, so I give him that. And he did work in local positions in the state. And all that ended when in 2021 he decided to join the running for governor. And he has been all over the place. He's running on anti-Democrat. He wants to end sanctuary policies, which protects undocumented immigrants. He wants to change New Jersey's educational policies and methods that Mississippi and Louisiana have. You guys got to understand that New Jersey is currently #1 in education, and he wants to take that out and try to get it as Mississippi and Louisiana's. Mississippi's at 16 in the nation, and Louisiana's on 37. So if people that are really one issue voter really note that, because that's not going to go well. And he's against LGBTQ. He voted against controversial therapy for minors, which, listen, I don't agree with that, but I'll still vote for it because parents should be allowed to talk to their kids. If their parents and their kids are talking together within themselves and the parents allow that, then that's on them. That's on them. That has nothing to do with me. That has nothing to do with anybody else. If the parents want to talk to their kids and allow that, so be it. We have the right to do that. So he's against that. And in 2012, he voted against the bill legislation and same-sex marriage. So he's anti-gay. He's anti-abortion. He's everything that Republicans hate in liberals. When we have our rights, Republicans want to take that away. He defended Trump's canceling on Gateway Tunnel from New York to New Jersey, which is very crucial, a very vital project for the state, and also the Eastern Corridor. $18 billion that Congress accepted, just deleted. And he said he was fine with that. He said they didn't need that. So if people vote for him, that's what you're going to get from this guy. He's a sellout. And he would do anything to defend Trump and not his constituents. So who wants that? That's why I would recommend everybody voting for Mikie Sherrill. And he wants to end wind farms, which that's the reason why Mikie wants to, continue the investment, because those will actually help with energy costs go low. She wants to invest more in energy, solar, which help reduce actual using like power from other states. If you want to use the natural resources, that would help with energy costs come down. And Jack Ciattarelli wants to oversee that. And I always say someone's voting record really shows who they are. And Jack Ciattarelli's voting record in the assembly really explains what type of person he is. He's not there for their constituents. He also voted against increasing minimum wage. While we all know, that everything's going up, rent, utility bills, groceries, and the inflation is not beating expectations when it comes to minimum wage. Our wages are not competing with inflation, and that's the problem with everything. A lot of businesses take advantage of that. And he voted against the minimum wage. He voted against project labor agreements, which help create more unions to protect workers from corporate greed, corporations. He opposed equal pay legislation. So obviously, sometimes Republicans don't like equal pay, That's not a surprise. He opposed Buy America requirements, which means you buy from American products and not foreign. So he rather let China get the more businesses than America. And, you know, we have struggling here that a lot of American companies are not being bought by American. You know, we rather buy other stuff from other countries than we build our own. We have great workers in America, and Jack Ciattarelli is against that. Shame on him. And when they had the New Jersey debate, you can really tell the difference between these two. Mikie Sherrill is for the people, Jack Ciattarelli is all for Trump. We don't need another politician like that. We have seen all the Republicans right now, especially with the shutdown. It's just been so crazy and very disappointing. The Republicans that once they were a respected party now are on their hands and knees and being hostage by Donald Trump. It's really a shame. You know, Mikie Sherrill, she's a very, very good politician. And this whole video might be that I'm partisan, and obviously I'm a Democrat, but it's just the facts. And Mikie Sherrill is a very good candidate. We feel really good about this election. I think she'll beat this out. It's going to be very close. We always knew that. But we know she's going to beat it out because there's more Democrats than Republicans. And again, yes, a lot of stuff's been high and the Democrats have been running the state. But at the end of the day, now Republican control in Congress, and they have done nothing to lower anything. So they can't make that argument. And now back to her. You know, she's an American politician. She represents 11 congressional districts in Congress since 2009. She's a Democrat. She's a member of the Democratic Party. And her career has been amazing. You know, she was part of the U.S. Naval Academy. She graduated in 1994. And this was already public known. But just a few months ago, Jack Ciattarelli's team did a disgraceful thing. They released military records against her behalf from the archives and released her records saying that she graduated. She did graduate. She did finish, but she didn't walk because she failed to pretty much snitch on her colleagues when she knew that they were cheating on the test. She didn't, obviously, but they just said, you can't walk because you failed to tell us. You pretty much failed to snitch on them. She's not a snitch. So they tried using that against her. So now Congress is investigating Jack Ciattarelli and his team. Like, why would you get her shit? Like, even after he got that stuff, people were even telling him, like, this is not good. Like, you shouldn't release it. This is her personal records. They released her social security number, her home address, risking her life, and just throwing it out there to the public. And we all know how much these politicians already get racist texts, threatening texts, risking their lives all the time just by being in public service, in the public eye. And he does that. He will go any length to try to gain power because he's power hungry. And that's very shameful of him. He should know better. And he still doesn't take accountability. Like, shame on him. And even with that, I think it really backfired him on too, because once you're in the military and you're a veteran like that, you know, once you do that, you would honestly get expelled or suspended or like honestly exiled from the Veterans Academy or team because you just don't do that. That just goes all against your values. Like, there's ways to attack her. Being part of the Democratic Party, she voted against 100% of everything of Biden, and obviously a lot of critiques when it comes to the Republican Party on the Democrats, especially during Biden's term. You can critique on that, but to try to release all her personal information, like now, like he's at risk of violating the Privacy Act of 1994. You just don't do that. So Congress is investigating that. And she made a point. Like, look, I have the means since I'm in Congress where I can investigate and have the tools to investigate this, and we will win. But that veteran out there that doesn't have the means to do this, he gets affected. That personal regular citizen out there that doesn't have a lot of money to get a lawyer, all these legal funds and fines and shit, doesn't have the means and money to do this, he'll get affected. So it really backfired on him. And in another controversy at the debate, well, we all were happy that Mikie Sherrill finally was pushing back because throughout pretty much the summer months, a lot of people were criticizing her that she's not fighting hard enough, because we were seeing all these ads against her by the Jack Ciattarelli team and the Republicans, and we don't see her pushing back hard enough as Democrats want her to. And she pushed back, and she's like, listen, you want to talk about integrity? What about you? What about the opioid crisis that thousands of people were dying? And before he sold his publication that he had under him, he published saying that the opioids were safe. It was a propaganda machine for the opioid companies that were selling it to hundreds of people, even though we knew the statistics that they were serious, dangerous, and were killing people through the roof. Back from 2020 to 2021, they were having an opioid crisis in New Jersey a lot too. Also, not even in New Jersey, in the whole country. But New Jersey was a big one that was hit by this. Even though he knew that the opioid crisis was huge and was killing millions, he put it on his publication how safe they were and that they were good for people. And so many people were buying it and were still killing them. And even that, he even went a step further. Jack also developed an app to go forward and showed people where to get these opioid places and just like what to say to try to get it. Like they say you're not prescribed, they give you options on the app to what to say to get those pills. That's how disgraceful and pathetic he is, that he even made an app for this kind of stuff. And while he was doing that, the opioid companies made billions, and he made millions off this. And thousands were dying based on his stupid app and his publication saying that they were good when they were not. Shame on him. And he got all pissed off at the debate. You could tell it really got him, saying a shame on her, blah, 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 when it was the truth. Now he's trying to threaten her. But did he? No, because we all know the fucking truth. This is what happened. No lie about that. So it really tells who this person is. Like, he's a spineless, corrupt politician. And of course, part of the Republican Party. I'm sorry. Mikie Sherrill, she's there to fight for the people. You know? She wants to tackle bad actors and special interests who drive prices up. Right now in New Jersey, they're really dealing with an energy property tax and also energy costs. Utility bills are through the roof in New Jersey. And they want to know which candidate is going to fix that and try to lower my energy costs, because they just can't afford it. With everyone else in the country being unaffordable right now, with everywhere, New Jersey is one of the highest property taxes in the country. Obviously, going through New York and California, all these big major cities, New Jersey is one of the high property taxes. So they're dealing with that. And they also want reform in government. And healthcare is the third biggest issue as well. And so she wants to tackle that. She wants to stand up to healthcare middlemen who make prescriptions to go up, just like the Biden administration that negotiated with Big Pharma, which helps Medicaid negotiate with them to lower drug cost. And she wants to fight monopolies that hike up mortgage and rental prices, which is a big thing in New Jersey, and to make them cheaper. And on day one, she wants to declare state of emergency, invest more in energy and solar, which helps lower energy costs. That's one thing too she wants to tackle. And Jack Ciattarelli wants to do the opposite. By doing this, she would reduce carbon footprint and increase energy independence and lower cost, which helps tremendously. She would go after large corporations that are taking advantage of people. She would incentivize new investments by new small food retailers, because we all know small food restaurants and little businesses are the driving force of not only for the state, but for the economy. Yes, big businesses are good and banks and everything, but businesses are the driving force, what makes this country great, and why we're the world's largest, greatest economy. And she would actually add more support for farmers. She's for farmers. Jack Ciattarelli is not. New Jersey produces more corn and tomatoes and blueberries. And with Trump's immigration policy right now, it's affecting farmers all across the country. Right now, the farmers, not only in New Jersey, but over there in like in the West, they're dealing with soybeans right now where they made all these soybeans and they have nobody to sell it to. And usually their number one customer was China. But with Trump being an asshole and doing the tariffs on everybody with full reign, and, China retaliated and said, okay, F you, we're going to go with Brazil. So now the farmers are going bankrupt and they have billions of soybeans that they can't sell. And that really affects them and they're going bankrupt right now. And then you have Donald Trump bailing out Argentina while our own farmers are going bankrupt and, they're dealing with the crisis. Whatever happened, I want to ask Mega, whatever happened to America first? Why the fuck do we have to bail out Argentina? Like, the fuck? Let them worry about their own country. It's not our fault that their fucking leader is a deadbeat. He's right-wing and a Trump supporter, so that's the reason why he freaking helped them. Like, what a disgrace Donald Trump is. So that's happening. And, with the immigration policy right now, they're on full force getting all these immigrants. Who's going to work for their fields? And let's be honest here. A white person is not going to do that for 12, 10 hours straight. Growing up as Mexican that I am, I used to work in the fields. I was 12 years old and I would get an $800, $600 check. But my ass busted my ass all day in the heat and sun in the summer. From 7 in the morning, sometimes we would get out at 8 at night. But all day in the heat and sun. Bending, getting the tomatoes. And I don't care what people might say about me. But that's work that I know a white person would never do. There's way better jobs inside like a factory, warehouse, because obviously they have papers. But these people out here are undocumented, but they have visas to work. Even undocumented, they do that for less pay. Do you think a white person's going to allow that? I don't think so. So let's just be honest here what this is. And that's affecting the farmers all across the country, not just New Jersey. So that's big on that. And Mikie Sherrill is against that. She's against Trump and his immigration policies. So there's a stark difference in these people. And that's why it's so close. But honestly, I really think that she's going to duke it out at the end. Virginia, New Jersey, and New York, we're all going to see real results. And people are going to come up and spoke. Because every time Democrats go out and vote, Democrats win. So it's very, 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 very tricky. It's crazy. I just think, what do you guys think? Do you think Jack Ciattarelli has a chance? Right now, he's trying to get as much votes as he can. And I think he'll get like maybe 45, 48%. And then Mikie Sherrill would get 51 or 52%. I just don't think it's enough. I think Jack Ciattarelli, as being a businessman, I think his worst decision ever is siding with Trump, a convicted felon, and agreeing with 100% of his policies that are causing so much damage to this country. That's a fact. So that's in his peril. Election day, guys, is November 4th. We have 2 more days. Early voting is in those 3 states. Go out and vote if you can early. If you want to wait for election day, go to your nearest polling station. Please go out and vote. Please exercise your right as an American to vote. These important elections are very important. The more we get Democrats in, we can stop Donald Trump. He's doing so much damage to this country. And some people had hope for him, but after 1 year in, he's showing no signs of helping us, of trying to lower costs, which he promised. That big, ugly, beautiful bill that he passed back in March was like his legacy, which is the largest transfer of tax cuts to the wealthy, and $1 trillion cut from Medicaid. Now 40 million people are about to lose their health care. 4 million are completely going to be wiped out from it because ACA tax credits, which helped insurance premiums go low, are going to be cut out for people. So can you imagine American president touting his success when people are literally going to go without their healthcare? Healthcare should be American right. Put that in your head. Healthcare should be an American right. And now Trump administration is refusing to get the money that was appropriated by Congress to not feed people that has SNAP benefits. That's 40 million people that are going to go hungry just weeks away from Thanksgiving. Shame on Trump and shame on this administration and shame on the Republican Party for being so spineless. It's pathetic. You know, they should go against Trump. He's going to be a lame duck president in 2026 anyway. 2026 anyway. So, what the fuck? What are you afraid of? So, elections are in Tuesday. Please vote. Vote for the Democrats to make your lives better. Affordability is on the ballot. Justice is on the ballot. And we need to stop corruption coming from the Republicans in Washington. Thanks for watching. Please tune in on election day because I will make live updates of what the results are in each 3 states. I'm hopeful, but you never know. You just never know. Please, if you like the video, like and subscribe and comment what you think of these races, especially in New Jersey. Thank you.